Welcome to the Simply Vegan podcast, brought to you by the team at Vegan Food and Living, the UK's best-selling vegan magazine.
For today's episode, we are joined by BOSH, otherwise known as Henry Firth and Ian Theasby. Hi guys, how are you?
Hello, we're really good, thank you. Thanks for having us.
It's great to have you back. We last spoke in season 3, episode 2, which was quite a while ago now, so it's lovely to catch up. If you've been vegan a while, you will no doubt have heard of BOSH, but if you haven't, the list is endless when it comes to your credentials, isn't it? Cookbook authors, YouTubers, cookery show hosts, DJs. Is there anything that you guys don't do?
We don't cook meat.
Well, there you go. Good. That's a good thing, seeing as this is a vegan podcast. What do you want to, for anyone who is new to veganism, do you want to just kind of introduce yourselves a bit and, just sort of give us a brief rundown of your story?
Absolutely. So BOSH is Henry Firth, me and Ian Theasby. We've been mates for like 2 decades or something crazy like that. We went to school together and we were flatmates and things. And about 6 years ago, Ian decided to go vegan on a health kick, persuaded me with the help of the Cowspiracy movie. I then went vegan as well, was absolutely shocked to realize what damage we were doing to the planet. And then we both kind of became shocked when we realized what we were doing to animals. So not long after, we decided there weren't enough vegan recipes on the internet. There was lots of videos of people making, chicken wrapped in bacon covered in cheese, but there wasn't a vegan version of that. And with our love of food, a newfound love of vegan cooking, and our kind of marketing and video background, we decided to set up BOSH, the biggest vegan recipe channel in the world. And now a line of products that you can buy in supermarkets, and also a load of cookbooks. In fact, we've just hit our milestone, which we're really excited about, which is 1 million people have bought our cookbooks. So that is our story in brief.
That is amazing. I forgot about your supermarket range as well. I missed that out.
Yes, it's fun. You can eat BOSH food even if you can't be bothered to cook.
Exactly. Where is the range available? I did see it the other day, but can't remember where.
Well, that's the thing. We have many ranges under the BOSH banner. We've got ambient products, which is your kind of your store cupboard essentials. We have also got baked goods in the form of cakes, buns, and brioche bread. We've also got ready meals, and we're just about to launch frozen. And the answer to the question of where they're available is that we are in every single UK supermarket. And hopefully, in the not too distant future, we'll be in supermarkets abroad as well.
That's just amazing. You're giving Derek Sarno a run for his money now, aren't you?
Busy bees trying to constantly cook up new recipes and make delicious food available to people wherever they are.
And with regard to the Derek Sarno thing, the thing is about the vegan movement, which we really, really like about it, is that there is no competition. We are all just one entity, just moving toward the goal of more plants, of more plates. So Derek is an ally rather than competition. Absolutely.
Definitely. We love Derek and we love you guys too. And that's what I love about the vegan movement. It's it's so inclusive, and it's kind of like we're all working towards a common goal, aren't we? So let's talk about your new cookbook. It's all about cooking on a budget, isn't it? Which, it couldn't have come at a better time. Not only is it January, where we're all broke, we're all like regretting spending so much on Christmas and all those nights out and restaurant meals and parties and whatever. And of course, with rising fuel costs and everything else, everyone's just kind of freaking out a little bit, aren't they, about their bank balances? People think that veganism is expensive, isn't it? What would you say to that?
Yes, it can be, actually. When you look at the new products that are hitting stores that are, delicious products, those burgers that came from America, that look and taste just like beef, and now you've got the chickens and the tunas, all of which are plant-based. Those products actually can be quite expensive. So when you are picking up those essentially packets of food that say vegan on them, you can end up spending quite a lot of money. But that does give people the misconception that vegan food is expensive, because inherently, naturally, vegan food is absolutely cheap. It's plants, it's vegetables, it's fruits, it's legumes, it's seeds, it's nuts, it's whole grains, it's all of that good stuff that will all be healthier if we eat more of anyway. So what we want to do with BOSH on a budget is to show people that the nuts and bolts of vegan cooking is super pocket friendly. All the more so if you do seasonal cooking. So if you try and get fruit and veg that's in season, that's going to make it cheaper. And also if you do things like buying in bulk or batch cooking, there's so many ways to make vegan food super accessible, super affordable, and it's never been needed more than now.
There was a study, wasn't there, that came out at the end of 2021 that actually concluded that, you know, a vegan diet is cheaper. So that's good to have a bit of positive mainstream news for a change.
Yes, absolutely. It's nice when the kind of propaganda stuff is in our favour rather than against us.
Exactly. So let's hear your tips then. Name a few nutritious yet cheap meals that we can cook up this month.
Ooh, well, I mean, there is one. The first dish that springs to mind from the brand new book is the fiery beans chili. Okay, 5-bean chili. So the idea with that is that it's you've got lots of different types of beans, and it's also got bulgur wheat in there as well. So you don't have to cook the grain separately from the chili, because ordinarily you would have a chili with rice. This time around, we've basically got the chili and the grain in one pot, and it's basically brimming with really healthy, tasty veggies, which basically get all bases covered. There's loads of protein in there. There's loads of vitamins that you need, and we also hit it with loads of tomatoes and different flavorings like Marmite for B12. So it's almost like a big, massive witch's cauldron full of really healthy food that happens to taste incredibly good.
Yum, that sounds amazing and a really good idea. Yeah, just sticking it all in one pot.
Exactly.
I bloody love beans. I mean, they're cheap, they're filling. What is not to love?
Absolutely. I think that getting those store cupboard essentials like dried chickpeas, you know, or dried lentils, getting them into your cooking is a great way to save costs, save money, but also to mean, you know, you've got something healthy available whenever you need it, because those things don't go off. You know, they'll last for absolutely decades. Also, if you're a fan of making hummus, your hummus is going to be so much better if you cook those chickpeas from scratch, which we show you how to do in the book. Likewise, if you're making a curry like a chana masala, you know, typically what you'll find often in a cookbook in the UK for a chickpea curry or a chana masala will be you take your tin of chickpeas, you pour that in a pan on top of some onions, you put in some tomatoes and you put in some spices, and they call that a chickpea curry. It's not very authentic. So we really spent a lot of time researching and looking at this, and we found a way to make incredibly delicious, rich chana masala, cooking the chickpeas in their own liquid with some tea bags, with some bicarbonate of soda, believe it or not, and then adding a load of spices. There's no need for a tin of tomatoes, but adding the perfect mix of spices, and you get this incredibly rich, dark, flavoursome chana masala that is just like you'd get in an authentic Indian or Pakistani restaurant.
I love your passion. You're talking with like your eyes closed. Like I'm just visualising this chana masala and I want to eat it.
I mean, it's so delicious. We're very proud.
It's one of my favourite dishes, actually. But tea bags, I mean, that's amazing. I need to look at this recipe.
Yeah. If you use tea and bicarb of soda, you're essentially kind of using some acidity, but you're also using some alkalinity, which is going to help you to cook the chickpeas perfectly, not dry out the chickpeas, but also add some flavour and a brown colour to the curry as well.
Fantastic. What store cupboard staples would you recommend then? I know you mentioned Marmite and chickpeas and beans and things like that. A few basics for anyone doing Veganuary, but also perhaps a few more unusual ones for people who've been vegan a while.
Well, I think it's really important for new vegans to consider their nutrition, and a good way to get a lot of good quality nutrition in your diet is just to go straight to the fruits and veggies counter in the supermarket. So get a nice range of colours, be that purple aubergines, red tomatoes, green spinach. Just get loads of those fresh veggies, and then you are basically on your way to feeling healthy. But we found that a lot of vegans, where a meat eater will base their meal around the piece of meat that's on their plate, a vegan will more often than not ask the question, what will I have for dinner today? And it will be, shall I have rice, pasta, noodles, potato, or like a grain such as couscous or one of those kind of things. So what we try and tend to think is, like, if you've got your pantry and you've got some of those meal staples, you can really build a meal around the bulk. But just as long as the bulk that you are building around has lots of healthy stuff like the veggies. So yeah, that basically is the answer there.
Fantastic. Things like nutritional yeast, I guess, new vegans might not have heard of. Do you cook with that very often?
So we're absolute fans of Nooch. In fact, you can get a BOSH Nooch some supermarkets in the UK, which is great. Do you know what I love doing with Nooch, right? This is a tip for anybody who has a bit of Nooch in their kitchen. Now, I've always been a massive fan of pasta and pesto. Okay, it's super basic, but ever since I was, 18 years old, this was a go-to dish for me. Just loads of pasta with pesto. But actually, if you take pasta and, let's say, pesto or some kind of sauce, and if you cover it with not only Nooch, which gives you that kind of Parmesan flavour, but if you add to it some lemon juice and some pepper, you have the most incredible flavour topping for your pasta. Something about the kind of zippiness of the lemon and the umami of the Nooch and that pepperiness of the pepper just upgrades any pasta dish.
Yum. Okay. I like using it to make vegan Parmesan with like cashews and garlic.
Nice.
And I can't remember what else goes in there now. But just grind it all up, and that's a good one.
Yes.
What about batch cooking then? How does this work? I mean, is it just literally a case of cooking like 4 times the amount you normally would and sticking it in the freezer? And what if you don't have a lot of freezer space? I've got friends and they've literally just got one of those tiny little strip freezers at the top of the, at the top of the fridge. And it's like, how can you do it?
Yes, great shout. I mean, I would say that, yes, there are a few ways to do batch cooking. Shall we say the Joe Wicks way is where you cook all of your meals for the week and you leave them in the fridge and then you eat them Monday to Thursday. We're not into that. That's not what we recommend you do, because I think what happens when you leave that food sat in the fridge for a few days, it just goes a bit nasty and you don't want to eat it, and it's kind of depressing. And, you need to find enjoyment in your eating rather than depression. So we absolutely recommend the use of a freezer for batch cooking. If your freezer is small, then you're going to have to batch cook a little bit more often, but you can still get economical with your freezer space. So there's hacks you can use, like if let's say you're batch cooking the chili that Ian talked about before, you can think really carefully about the container or indeed the shape that you freeze that chili in to get the maximum storage space possible out of your fridge. In essence, what we're recommending is there's a few recipes in the book, like the chili or like our curries, where you can really cook a massive batch and then portion up and save those portions in the freezer. The thing about batch cooking is, like, what you find is, it might be a Wednesday night or a Tuesday night that you can't be bothered to cook, that you end up getting a takeaway. And that's when those pounds rack up, right? Both the physical pounds and the financial pounds.
Yeah.
So you want to save yourself time on that Tuesday and on that Wednesday. So if you have got some portioned up dishes in the freezer that you've already cooked, it's really easy and quick to heat and eat. So we really recommend that. We've got a number of batch cooking recipes in the book, and it's a great way to save money.
Yeah, brilliant. I need to do more of it because there's just never any food left. It all gets eaten. That's the problem.
You need to cook more.
Yeah, I need a huge cauldron.
Yeah.
What about food waste then for people who are perhaps, on their own, or there's just a couple of them and you're cooking too much? Or, I mean, obviously we just talked about freezing things, but, perhaps, I mean, I was doing a Riverford box for a while, and every week they would be delivering all these bananas. And we ended up with about 20 bananas. And I was just like, I don't have time to make banana bread. What tips would you offer for using things up before they go bad?
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of veggies can just be roasted and blended and turned into a soup. So that's a really good way to use up veggies. Another thing you can do is, say, if you've even if you've just like prepped a roast dinner and you've got all your sort of peelings, like your carrot peeling and your parsnip peeling and your sprout shells, you can just whack those in a pan and boil them off and turn them into a stock. So there is a lot of ways that you can to use things up so you don't go to waste. But I think the best thing to do is to write lists before you go to the supermarket. Like, sort of plan what you're going to eat and go and write a list of the ingredients that you need to buy, and then go to the supermarket and buy those ingredients and stick to the plan. Because that way you save money because you're not buying stuff, and also you sort of stay on the beaten track. You're not like picking up that bag of sweeties or picking up that thing that you didn't think you were going to get. So writing the list of the stuff that you're going to cook during the week is definitely the best way to minimize food waste.
Yeah, because those supermarkets are so good at making us spend money, aren't they, with their little offers and things. And but yeah, great idea for making soups and also sauces. I guess you could just blend up the veggies and for a pasta sauce or something.
Absolutely. You can also, if you've got some greens left over, it goes great in a smoothie. If you've got some bananas that are going off, chop it up into little chunks and put them in the freezer, again, using that freezer. I'd also say, like, fridge raid recipes. So in the BOSH on the Budget cookbook, we have got a whole section to help you fridge raid. But what we mean by fridge raid is to essentially freestyle a recipe. So rather than follow the recipe exactly, to realize that, I can sub out some of the aubergine and maybe put in some courgette instead. Now, in order to do that, you have to know how to cook the courgette correctly. And that's why we've got a handy cheat sheet in BOSH on a Budget to help you do that.
Oh, that sounds brilliant, because some people are so good at doing that. And I must say, it's one thing that I'm quite good at, because I'm quite a creative person.
You're a freestyler. Yeah.
I'm not good at following instructions and sticking to the rules. However, my mum can't cope with that. She has to have 100 grams of this, 150. Whereas I'm like, no, I'm just going to chop it all up, throw it in and, just use my instinct. So, which, has its plus points, but also it could sometimes turn out as a complete disaster.
Yeah, totally. I feel you.
I use an organic veg delivery box, but that's not always affordable, is it, for some people? Where do you buy your fruit and veg from? And what would you say? Do you buy organic? Do you buy some organic, some not?
I mean, to be honest, the short answer to the question of where do we buy fruit and veggies from is just the supermarket. You just go to the supermarket and grab it from there, because most big supermarkets now have just got this wonderful array of fantastic veggies, and a lot of the veggies that you buy at the supermarket is super cheap as well. Organic, to be honest, I think that if you can afford organic and you're really dead into that, then feel free, go for it. But we don't make a massive point of eating only organic. Far from it. In fact, we just eat veggies and feel fitter now and healthier now than we ever have done before. So I think that, if you can afford organic, go for it. But if not, hey, don't sweat it.
Yeah, I guess it's the environmental side of things, isn't it? If you're kind of reading up on that, which I did, unfortunately, I'm like, oh, damn it, now I've got to buy organic all the time.
Yeah, I think that the problem with organic is it's quite a vague, hard to define term, in that, you can't necessarily control what seeds have blown over into what field. And actually, for example, we were chatting to someone who runs a vegan pea protein brand, and aims to have all of his pea protein organic from organic peas. But actually, if you then test the pea protein, you'll often find, even though it's been grown organically, doesn't qualify as organic because it has had some kind of pesticides finding its way in through the air. So it's tough. I think it's a great thing to strive for, but we understand that not everybody's able to do that. And at the end of the day, if you're eating vegan food, if you're eating plant-based food, you're already making such a big improvement to the environment that you can be proud of that on its own.
That's a really good point. Thank you. I feel better now. What are you guys cooking for tea tonight? You don't live together anymore, do you? So I was going to ask you who, do you take it in turns to cook, but you're not in the same household anymore.
Ooh, well, do you know what? I've actually got a good answer to that because we are making a couple of commercial videos for a brand, and I'm going to test out one of the recipes that we wrote today to see if it works and tweak it because we're filming it tomorrow. So yeah,
oh, cool.
We're making a. Actually, I can't tell you just yet, but it's
great answer. Do you know what? So we are really living the brand at the moment, and so I have some frozen 5 beans and grains chili in the freezer, which we made last weekend, and we're going to be eating that today because we're so busy that we have not got time to cook something proper. But that is an absolutely delicious meal, so I'm glad that it's in there.
Brilliant. You can't go wrong with the chili, and you can stick all the things with it, can't you? Like the guacamole, salsa.
Absolutely.
Vegan creme fraiche. Yum.
Yeah.
Do you know what I like with the chili? I like a big spoonful of hummus.
Oh.
Out there.
Nice.
That is out there.
If you haven't tried it, you should definitely give it a whirl because vegan sour cream isn't the easiest to come by, but a little bit of hummus. The smoked hummus is the best, but have that on the side. Oh, delicious.
Nice.
I love smoked hummus. I think they do that in Morrison's, but I also have liquid smoke in
that's good
my
stuff.
cupboard, and sometimes I stick some of that in the like cheap supermarket hummus. So yeah, good tip.
Oh, that's a good tip.
It is.
Just to make your own smoked hummus with 1 drop of liquid smoke. Love that.
See, I don't need you guys. I could just
Exactly.
Well, finally, can you just name for anyone doing Veganuary a few of your favourite online resources? Of course, all your channels, you're on everything, aren't you? YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You're on Facebook?
Yep.
Yeah. But who are some of your favourite, cooks or places to go for recipes and tips?
Cool. So, you can find us at bosh.tv. We're everywhere, so you'll find us on the website, which is bosh.tv, but also Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now TikTok. It's all kicking off on TikTok nowadays.
Oh, you've gone back to the dark side.
Yeah. Got to do it, man. So that's us. I mean, we both have different favourites. I love and always have loved Jamie Oliver's approach to flavour. So, now he's doing more plant-based things. That's really cool. But also, we're big fans of people like the Happy Pear and Gaz Oakley and Rachel Ammer. We actually had her on our cooking show, Living on the Veg, and she's an incredible cook.
I love her.
I'd definitely echo all of them. I'd also throw in, there's a young chap called Chez Georges, who specialises in Asian cuisine. And oh my God, some of his recipes look absolutely delicious. I've made a couple and they are truly fantastic. You have Maxwell Manor, who's very good. So Vegan, obviously, they've been in the game almost as long as we have, and they're brilliant. There's so many to choose from.
Yeah.
How can I forget the Plant Boys?
The Plant Boys!
There's like 9 lads, all of them cooking various vegan recipes, various different cuisines, and they're really doing good things online at the moment as well.
Yeah, they're fun.
I've never heard of them.
Go check them out.
Yeah. I'll get Googling after this.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, guys. It's been so nice to catch up with you again, and hopefully perhaps another year we'll have you back on and you'll be up to other things. Who knows?
That would be amazing. Fingers crossed.
Thank you so much. The book is out now, isn't it?
The book is out now. You can get it. It's actually really nice if you can to actually go into a bookshop. If we can support local bookshops, I think that's a fantastic thing. And you might find another nice book in there as well. But you can, of course, get it online. You can either get it at Waterstones, where we have a signed edition, or go to the big evil bookshop and shop of everything whose name shall not be mentioned.
Yeah, go to your local bookshop, guys. Don't use don't use that that website.
That place.
Oh, thank you.
What a pleasure. Thanks for having us.